Hey, come walk with me. I have a story to share and something for your mind to see straight through. You'll understand from experience. You have this amazing, patient, resilient heart. You know.
감기 두제 예수네 다와 담제 방배실 담배 쥐니 던제배 고담텔라 차절로.
You know, a high-grade sneaky stroke has paralyzed my father's left side, sucked at his short-term memory, and robbed him of his independence. He can't walk. Movement and memory seem so ordinary until you're stung by brain rebellion. I fear my father is depressed without his freedom. So I look to nature. I go to it to guide me. He taught me that. She always takes us as we are, he would say, showing us how to change texture, color, and quality with pressure and time. I found slivers of serenity under this pressure. As a kid, my father helped me find these places of peace, wandering, running, traveling the world, or leaning into him for strength, for guidance, for consolation. The gravel path by the Red River was always open to my plodding. I could sweat and cry and laugh, and none of nature seemed to mind. Then my father told me, there's this park in BC where you can run around without seeing a car. And he called it Lotus Land. Now I call it home. Every day, the Pacific Ocean and the trails of Stanley Park welcome my achy unknowing that definitely these days wants to hide and seek solace. It was here, some 34 years ago, I first saw the craggy, strong rock on the west side of Stanley Park that the locals called Siwash. And it was later I learned the story from the writings of Pauline Johnson. Her father was the Mohawk chief, George Henry Martin Johnson. And I want to tell you this story that she has about this rock. We're on our way there to Siwash Rock so we can see it from above, and then we'll see it close up below. Because it's below, you can really see what this rock is all about. And the story goes something like this, and I hope I do it justice, and if I make mistakes along the way, well, you'll just have to forgive me. Because this story, it touched me deeply, as it's about a young husband and a young wife. And the young wife turned to her husband and said, "Today, it will be today." And he took her very gently by the hand and led her through the forest down to the water's edge. And there's this beautiful spot. And he said to her, "I must swim." And she smiled and she said, "I must swim too." And they understood each other with a good look in the eyes, because they knew that the parents of a coming child must swim until their flesh is so clear and clean that a wild animal cannot scent their proximity. Because then, if the wild animals of the forest have no fear of them, then and only then are they fit to become parents. So the two plunged into the waters of the Narrows, and then he took her to shore. And she was smiling, and she crept under the huge trees, and she said, "I must be alone, but come to me at sunrise, and you will not find me alone then." And he smiled, and he went back into the sea, and he was saying to himself, "I must swim, because I must be spotlessly clean, so that when this child looks out upon the world, this child will have the chance to live its own life clean." So as he swam around, so happy and looking forward to this new life in his life, he could see in the distance a canoe bearing 4 men, and it was heading straight towards him. And they cried out, get out from the course, get out from the course. And they could see his strong body cutting through the waters. And he laughed at them. They were giants. They weren't just ordinary men. They were God men. And what they said came with a booming voice, and they demanded, "We are the men, the agents of Salagaliti, and we command you ashore and out of the way." And he's like, "I am not going to shore. I will not stop." And they say, "Do you dare disobey us? We, the man, the God man, because we can turn you into a fish or a tree." And the father-to-be said, "I dare anything for the cleanliness and purity of my coming child. I dare even the great God himself. My child must be born to a spotless life." They couldn't. They looked at each other. These four God men were astounded, and they began to discuss between them, what should we do? They'd never met such a man, a mortal, who would defy them. For the sake of a little unborn child, they were ignored, disobeyed, even despised. But they had to be careful, because if their canoe or even their paddle blades touched a regular mortal, then their marvelous man-God powers, they'd be gone, lost. So they dared not run him down, because then they would become mortals themselves. And then just then at a distance, there was this faint, strange, compelling sound. It was the cry of a little child, a newborn babe. And the strongest and the tallest of these God men stood erect and stretched out his arms towards the rising sun and chanted, not a curse on the young chief's disobedience, but a promise of everlasting days and freedom from death. Because you have defied all things that come in your path, we promise to you, you have defied what interferes with your child's chance for a clean life. You have lived as you wish your child to live. You have placed that child's future before all things, and this the great God commands us to make you forever a monument for your tribe. You shall never die, but you shall stand through all the thousands of years to come, where all eyes can see you, and you shall live as an indestructible monument to clean fatherhood. And the four men lifted their paddles, and it was a salute to the handsome, young, strong chief who swam ashore. And when his feet touched the line where the sea and the land met, he was transformed into stone. This stone, Siwash stone. And then the four men said, his wife and child must ever be near him, and they also shall not die. They will live eternally. And they too were turned to stone. And inside the park you will find a large rock and a smaller one beside. And there, this wife and this newborn babe, they are there for all eternity, also embodying the cleanliness to embody new life. And this tall, gray column of stone will still be there, a monument to one man's fidelity to a generation yet unborn, and will endure from everlasting to everlasting. Stand here for a moment in front of this great rock. Give yourself a chance to wander through these thoughts. Look at the face of this rock and imagine it as the face of your father. If you know his face or not, some part of father created you. This natural father energy has vigor. Look at this rock. It has intensity. It has confidence. It has some defiance and determination. Look at this rock. It is just and courageous. Look at its chiseled features and how it gazes over the mother sea. Then look again. Look at the rock again and imagine the face of your father who cared for you, or your chosen father who has mentored you. See his smiling face and how he's so happy to see you. Take in that brightness, that warmth, that strength, and recall how he has held you as a babe, so tiny, hugged you, or shook your hand, laughed with you, taught you some way to balance, or speak your truth, or pulled you from danger. Recall your father's best qualities. Name those qualities to yourself. And recall how he has wished the best for you since the first day he laid eyes on you. This man, your father who cared for you, this chosen father who has mentored you, he wants you to find your unique, confident way in the world. Make your mark, he says. Defy the God men if you have to be clean, to be sure enough to hold new life. Look again at this rock a final time and see your profile and recall the legacy of the qualities of clean fatherhood that you carry. Give thanks to the capacity that you hold the chosen parts of the legacy of your father or your chosen father, and consider how you will share them with the world. Give thanks to your capacity to hold the chosen parts of this legacy of your father, your chosen father. Consider how you will share them with the world. May you pay tribute to clean fatherhood and your part in the fidelity of your father's best qualities, and dedicate them to the coming generation. I honor all of you who embody and share your legacy and integrity of clean fatherhood.